Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio. Today I am working on my 100 days of gel print landscapes and I am on day 34. So today, actually day 34 and day 35 were done at the same time. And I am just using some craft paint, a mixture of Craft Smart, is that what it's called? Oh, Deco Arts Americana, and the other one was Folk Art, I believe. I have thrown that blue away because it was out. It's just random craft paint that I have. I'm trying to use up. Like, I really like gel printing with the more expensive, like Golden and Liquitex and those. And I don't use my craft paints as much, so I'm trying to use up that paint. And um, yeah, so this is the first one. I decided to do, just one of those where you put it down and you brayer it and you see what kind of landscape you get. After the 100 days is over, I'm thinking I might go back into some of these and like add, I don't know, either some pencil or ink just to give them some sort of focus. But yeah, this is the second one, the day 35. I just added some, I think it was called Peach or something, and pulled the rest of that paint up. So this one is like, would be considered the ghost print. And it's quite interesting and weird, and I don't know if it qualifies as a landscape in the real world, but here we're calling it a landscape. Maybe those mountains in the distance have got clouds, and the peaks are just poking out. That's what I'm going with. So for day 36, see how I'm just running through them? They don't take long to do when you do that kind where you just blob it on and pull it. So day 36, I did a little bit more definition. I do a pull of the sky, the background color, and that's just, I think it's a teal blue sort of color. Might have been called Blue Lagoon or a Laguna Blue. That one was Ceramcoat, and I mixed it with a little bit of white to get some variation going. And I do also have a cleanup print, like that I'm just pulling stuff with. That'll eventually turn into one of my landscape prints. If you've watched any of my other ones, you'll know I do use those cleanup print, papers to create landscapes when I feel like they've got enough stuff on them. So this time I did the layers of color, but I'm going to use baby wipe to create the mountain silhouette. And I'm just random bumps. I'm not following any particular sort of mountain. And then pulling it. And I like the effect this has. I do like this effect. It's kind of cool. It gives you variations on the hill. See that? My sky has a little bit of a white crack through it. Like it didn't pull very well. I'm not sure why. But there I am, just cleaning up my plate before I do the next. I decided I needed a foreground, so I'm just taking some green and mixing in a little bit of that blue, a couple of dots of blue, and just putting that across the bottom, and we'll make some grassy marks in it. I'm just doing that with my plastic palette knife. Nothing too sharp on the gel plate. Wouldn't want to like scratch it. And then I drug down a little bit because I was getting blobs at the end. I wasn't sure if I liked that. So, yeah, so that is how I get the grassy foreground. And again, that was craft paint. And then we're picking that up with my cleanup print. So how is everyone today? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. It's been warm the last couple of days. It's a little cooler today. It's supposed to be 50% chance of rain. I mean, I guess welcome to spring, right? Rain instead of snow. I guess that's a good thing. So this one I decided to try. So I'm using the Laguna Blue and mixing it in with some white. And I think I can't remember if I put a little bit of matte medium in there. I was trying to make it so it would be thinner. And what I decided to do was create layers hopefully using the same color to create like variations going from a light color to a darker color. So there's the first layer. And then I'm adding, it's like the peach color and more of that blue, mixing it together. And this is going to be our first mountains in the distance. And again, just using the baby wipe to create, I don't know, do those look like Tetons? No, I wasn't copying anything. I wasn't looking at any images of any mountains. Just like, Tetons are spiky. Let's do some spiky mountains. And we're going to pull that first mountain range. It's pretty faint. So that one has really got the atmospheric perspective going on. It's so hazy out there you can hardly see the mountain. So this time I'm taking the same two colors. I think I add, yeah, see it's old paint. It has dry goobers in there. I think I take, oh yes, so that one is, it actually says neon blue, but I don't think it's very neon. But just to add a little bit more blue. And for our next layer of mountains, I tried to make them different, but I'm not so sure. I got them very different than the row behind. Still going for spiky. Just 2 spikes and then have it sort of go off the side. It's giving it a good rub. I want to make sure that all comes off. So there's our next layer of mountains. Those peaks line up almost exactly with the dips on the previous. That was not intentional. That just sort of happened. So again, mixing the same colors together. And more of the neon blue. And then I decided it's too much the same color. Pulled a little bit of that off. I think I print this and I end up having to print more because I think it's too much the same as the mountain was. And this is, yeah, I was going for kind of grass, I guess. So you'll see, I'll pull it and we'll be like, yeah, you can't even see it. So now I'm just using some ultramarine blue, mixing that in to get a darker blue. And we'll make that look like grass. There we go. So that was day 37. We're just racking them up here, aren't we? I'm just cleaning off the plate using my cleanup print. And there's that one. So it has potential, right? Like, That's potential. Okay, so this next set, I am using the Amsterdam acrylics, and that was some matte fluid medium that I mixed with the bright pink. These I got on clearance at Michael's, and I'm fortunate enough to know where 3 Michaels are in not too far distance, so I found colors at different places, and this one is Quinta Rose Deep Opaque. And I'm doing this as, so a lot of painters, oil and acrylic painters alike, do an underpainting of a color. So I decided that bright pink was going to be my underpainting. And then I'm taking indigo and zinc white and mixing that. And I probably should have just put a teeny touch of indigo, and I should have used titanium white rather than zinc white, because zinc white is not as opaque as titanium. And where I have the pink behind, I don't want it all to just show through, right? I mean, so yeah, I'm moving some of that blue over. I'll use it later. Adding some more white just to get a lighter, a little bit lighter color. Just mixing that up. Yeah. I still think it's too dark. It almost looks, it looks pretty white when I put it on, but hopefully the picture you'll see, it looks more blue. So this time I did do the tear landscape. Tore some copy paper into some mountain shapes. And I would keep these and use them again, but they're pretty, I don't know, they're not great when all is said and done. So is the sky. And I'm doing it in separate layers so that the pink will show through if it's, unaligned. But see how that's underwhelming? So we're going to do it again. And we're going to add some white, just a touch of the blue. And try to make it a little bit more opaque. Pardon the cough. So the sky does have like interesting darks and lights on it now, and it does have a little bit of a pinky purplish cast. I don't think I thought about it at the time when I was doing this, but like I said, I should have grabbed some of my titanium white and really used it for the more opaque. Because even though I do this a third time, and that paper is getting really wet with paint, so I'm not giving it enough time to dry. The paper would probably be fine if I let it dry a little longer. Here we go. We're just going to do this again. Okay, didn't line it up exactly correct, but hey. All right, so now that's what, 3 layers in the sky? I think that was the last one I did. Felt like it finally covered up the pink. So now we're going to cover up the sky and we're going to create our mountain range. So I'm determining where the horizon's going to be. Put that down, and then we will add our mountains. And don't worry, that paint will get used eventually. Might not be on a landscape, but I'll put it on something. So this is Burnt Sienna, Amsterdam Expert Acrylic. I have a little bit of light color in there that might have, I can't remember if that was just mixed with the white or if it was mixed with the yellow ochre. I think it might have just been mixed with the white. Now we're going to line this up and hope for the best. Because I am not using one of those. What are those tools called? The Jelly Arts has them. I've seen people with homemade ones. I just visually line it up. That's my cleanup print. It's getting interesting. I decided we needed a little bit more. And we're just going to do it straight with a palette knife. No brayer this time. Just to add a little bit. So these kind with the paper masks, yeah, is a little bit more involved. So I wanted some sort of dark horizon, so I just grabbed the black. Can't remember the name of the black that they have. It's ivory black. And I'm just dragging it along with the palette knife. Probably a bit much. And then we're adding the green. It's a permanent green light. And then I think that was the light yellow. Sorry, I turned my head away. That's permanent lemon yellow light. This should be interesting. Not sure how the black looks. Kind of strange, but hey. Now I'm taking my cleanup print and we're going to stick that on there. That's getting to be a landscape all by itself. In fact, I think I leave that one just like it is. That was the cleanup paper. And I think I counted that as day 38. And I'm counting this one as day 39. So I decided to put a little bit of brown in the foreground. And there we have it. I know I'm always saying this. It has potential, right? Kind of interesting with the bright pink peeking out in places. And really, it's behind everything. It peeks through the grass, through the mountains and the sky. All right, so I'm going to use the same paper mask. I think I just flipped it around the other direction just so we have a different landscape. And creating a bottom area. And this one I'm going to do in layers and then pull at the end is what I decide to do with this one. So we're going to add layers at a time. So what I want to sit in front of everything else is the foreground. So I'm using yellow ochre, the permanent lemon yellow, and some of the burnt sienna. And loosely mix it, even if I even mix it. And I'm really sorry about where my gel plate is. I thought I had my camera lined up, but it's like off to the side a little bit. I apologize for that. So just put that on with the palette knife and then brayer it lightly and then let that dry. Okay, so that's not going to stick now that it's dry. So I'm not going to worry about it because it's already stuck down. And I'm going to add the green, lemon yellow, and yellow ochre brushy and then brayer over for the field of grass in the middle ground. Now I'm uncovering the mountains because that will be next. And this time I decided, well, I put in some shading just with paintbrush this time to give the mountains some dimension, some shadows and highlights. Just using the same colors that I have, the yellow ochre, I don't know if I use any of that lemon yellow, the burnt, oh yeah, there's the lemon yellow, burnt sienna. Oh, and I decided to put some of that behind what I already had in the foreground. Just making a super thin line along the horizon with indigo this time and just my palette knife. And this time I decide to put a little building or indication of human life on the horizon. It was kind of a spur of the moment thought, so when I put the building in, I put the white down first, which I should have thought about what the roof would look like and stuff. So it really just kind of looks blobby, but hey, it's an indication of something. And like I said earlier, I might come back in on some of these and add a little bit of pen work, and this one would benefit from maybe drawing in those buildings back there. I was trying to remember what that last color was that I threw in there. I feel like it was, I think it was black actually, because I have a couple of spots on my mountains that look like little black dots after it's pulled. So of course I have to wait for the mountains to dry. So this one did take a while. This one, you know, you leave it, you let it dry, you come back. And here I'm taking the indigo blue white mixture. It looks very gray, even on the print. Well, it was probably partially affected by the color that I chose to pull the print with. So I put the sky in and then let it dry. And then, yeah, I add vermilion, it looks orange to me, as the pull color. After everything's dry, I put this on it and I let it sit. So I actually have a large book that I set on top of these and let it just sit for a while till it's, sorry about that, till it's completely dry and no longer cool to the touch. And there it is, my last one for the day. That was number 40. Thank you, 22 Club, for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Love to hear your comments. I try to respond to everybody. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.